Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
I just want to do it with you.
I just want to go over it with you. He looked me deep into the eyes and said, I just want to go over it with you. And meanwhile, my wife's trying to bring me a milkshake because deep down she loves me more than Matt.
Oh, my
Hey,
milkshake spring on the bursting yarn and then
Just so you know, chocolate milkshakes, Baskin Robbins.
Damn right. It's better than yours. I could teach you.
Hey, Unc,
Hay is for horses.
Unc, what was on the menu tonight?
For dinner?
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Oh, you haven't had dinner yet? Well, let me tell you what I had last night.
I've had a rough day.
Let me tell you what I had for dinner last
Cookie?
night. There is nothing better. And in fact, Jackson, my youngest son, said, Dad, it smells phenomenal in here. Then to pan-sear a little butter, a little olive oil, chicken with Elizabeth salt, and buttery rosemary. It is top-notch in the house. Pair that with some garlic Parmesan pasta on top. Throw it together. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Just want to say that. Absolutely delicious. Matt, you going to kick it off tonight? What are we doing here? That was my segue. That was my first segue into the sponsors and welcoming folks to the Cool Fireman Podcast.
Have we started?
Episode 117.
I was grabbing my nipples. A 6-year-old listens to our podcast. We can't be grabbing our nipples anymore. Okay, Doug? And we're allowed to say that because Doug ain't here to defend himself.
No doubt.
Well, Hayes for Horses, welcome back to the Cool Fireman Podcast, brought to you by Hunky's Seasoning. Hunky's Seasoning. Get you some from the firehouse to your house. And also, he's frozen. Both of you guys are. Also, the burn box. Now, let's stay with the Hunky's Seasoning. We were just talking about Elizabeth salt, buttery rosemary, the chipotle, the coastal Cajun. Go get you some. Unky, do you still have your seasonings on sale?
You're muted. By the time that the episode drops,
He's muted.
By the time
they're so on sale at this time.
Hey, this is a professional organization around here. Okay?
So when it drops on Friday, they'll still be on sale?
Yes.
Nice.
Love it.
Love it.
Let's go ahead and extend it.
Okay. Yeah. Unky's going to extend it just for you. From me to you. From him to me to you. A to Z. Here we go. And Tom from the Burn Box just got my email, boys. Got my email with my tracking number.
Can I call out Doug for a second here?
Call him out. He's not
call him
here
out.
to defend himself. That's the best time to do it.
So, a little bit of a Burn Box or FD Collectors Club review. If you're not watching, go to Spotify or YouTube and watch this because this is the coin. See if I can pull it up. Oh, Get clear. Oh, it's
That's
the train.
Clear. That's
It's the train. He called it Mebane, North Carolina. That is incorrect. If you are from North Carolina, it's called Mebane. So to all those in North Carolina, know that on this podcast, there are some who know that Mebane, North Carolina is the correct enunciation of that word. And that, my friends, is a cool coin. So, yes, very, very cool coin. It has the train on it. And on the back, it has some really cool, but it's in the shape of a shield, Mebane Fire Department. And then the other one was the Reedsville Rams. Both of these are North Carolina. And Tom, I messaged him because, of course, I was like, hey, how did you get 2 North Carolina coins at the same time? And he said that one was a subscriber. So when he tells you that he wants you to hook him up and get feedback, absolutely. So there's the Reedsville and they're the Rams, Reedsville Rams. Very sweet. Both of them highlight the station on the back. Their station's very, very cool. So, yeah, Doug, not sorry. You got it wrong. It's Mebane, North Carolina. So, anyways.
There's a town in Ohio my wife's family's from, the Cleveland area. And there's a place called Toledo, and I like to call it Toledo. Are we going to go to Toledo? And then there's another one called Ashton Beulah, and I like to call it Ashtabula.
Well, I just find it funny that Doug always wants to pick on people on how they enunciate certain words, and then he got that one wrong.
You got it wrong, Doug. The price is wrong, bitch. Sorry, Rhett. Sorry.
Love you, mean it, Doug.
Hey, so I feel like we should have a T-shirt for Rhett, and it should say "Sorry, Rhett." So that'll be kind of like our new thing is when we say something inappropriate, we say "Sorry, Rhett," because he listens to every single podcast. He's 6 years old, people. He's told all of his friends. His entire preschool class is listening to the Cool Fireman podcast now.
Nice. Hey, Rhett, I got you your patch, so you have to come see me. I just really hope that I can remember to put it in my bag along with Adam's patch, because I got Adam his patch in his coin. He knows what I'm talking about. I've got that. You do know what I'm talking about. Hold on.
No, I got bad internet, so I can't see what you're doing. Y'all have been frozen since Matt's did the tear mark on his face.
You know,
tear mark.
You know which patch? The Richlands patch.
Oh, okay.
So I got that and the coin, and then of course I got Matt's shirt. So I've literally got a stack of things to bring to where? Where will we see each other at next week?
We're gonna go to Safra.
Safra.
Everybody
Safra.
keeps saying Safer. It's Safra, dude. It's Safre. Why does everybody say Safer? It's not safer. It's Safra. It's like Favre, Brett Favre.
As Brian said, towards just about the coins, he's made a publicly announcement that North Carolina cannot pronounce words correctly.
No, I did not say that.
Can. Well, you proved it.
I just said this is how we say it.
Yeah, you'll say stuff wrong.
I just want to give props here for a second. So Adam, in my side business, I helped a department redesign their logo, and I just want to give props to Adam. He helped me redesign the new logo for Richlands Volunteer Fire Department, and it is sweet.
It's only taken him how long to get the patch?
No.
Longer than Doug to give me my prizes. Longer than Doug took to give me my prizes.
I've had it. I can't say nothing. I should have put it in the mail. That's on me. 100% on
Brian,
me.
how many things do you do? You're a designer too now? Like, I didn't even know that.
If it can make a hustle, I'm in it. I'm just saying.
Damn, this guy's nuts. This guy's insane. Unbelievable.
And Adam and I may hustle together on a lot of things. I'm just saying. You know?
All right, that's a little personal. Let's go ahead and move on.
$20 is $20. I'm just saying.
Hey, you got Unky, you got Brian, you got Matt today for all those people that aren't watching and they're just listening. Okay, they're wondering if Doug's going to chime in. Well, no, Doug's not here. Where is Doug, Unky? Do we know
building
where
a barn, petting
the
a goat.
big city has called him.
Yeah.
The logo went up in the sky and he was called into the city.
He's in the city.
That's all I can tell you.
The
rest of it's confidential.
His Bat Doug signal has... That would be a great T-shirt too. You've made that. You've made that logo. Perfect. Yeah. And then Fred's not here. He's taking. I think he's in a. He's at NASA. He's at NASA and he's touring the facility there. He got a 1-day exemption to everything in the building, that's pretty
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So the next time we have him on, he should be able to give us some really top secret stuff. So that'd be kind of cool.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I told him that when
he's always doing big things, man. That's why he's so busy.
I know.
Big things.
When he signs the NDA, he's going to cross his fingers and put it behind his back so they don't know. So he's good.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's going to be super fun. Hey, let's have a serious moment.
Yeah.
Moment of silence. I have a special one today, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
The fire chief for the Fountain Valley Fire Department died last week. He was in Huntington Beach in the water, and they found his body washed up. Terrible. He had just retired. This is the best knowledge that I have, is that he had retired, and they brought him back on for 6 months as a contractor. I don't know if that was to kind of bring in the new fire chief and kind of have an easy transition, or if he was doing contract stuff for a project. I'm not sure, but he was technically retired as the fire chief and came back as a contractor for 6 months and died within that 6 months. So, meaningful to our Orange County folks and all the cities and bordering agencies. Chief McQuaid of the Fountain Valley Fire Department. So they just had a procession for him yesterday. We were involved. We go over all the the overpasses and show our respects, for that chief. So a special one here. I don't know if you guys have any that that have touched you personally.
None personally, but I have seen a couple of line of duty stuffs around this.
Yeah, there has
country,
been.
so, yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good thing that you don't have one that's personal to you. We've had enough, I feel like, this year already, and it's only gosh darn not even August yet. And so let's today, in this moment, have a moment of silence for Chief McQuaid of the Fountain Valley Fire Department and all of our other brothers and sisters that we might have lost over the last week. All right. Well said.
Amen. Well said.
I love that. Well said. Amen. I love that. Hey, I love you guys, by the way.
I miss you too, buddy.
Hey, today, so we've been getting a lot of engagement, boys. This is amazing. And this engagement that we've gotten all throughout, either whether it's TikTok or Instagram or people commenting on Spotify, which is amazing. Our impressions are going up on Spotify. So that means more people are seeing our podcast, although they're not following it, but that's okay. More people are seeing it. And in time, a lot of people
well, it's easy. Join. Just all you do is hit the follow button.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're going to have a lot of people joining, the Cool Fireman podcast community. And that's what we want. But so one thing that someone had brought up, and we're going to do a new segment later, I think, if I can make it work. We're going to try. It might fall on its face, but that's okay because we're still going to have a podcast to drop on Friday. That's all that matters. But what are we talking about today, boys? We're talking about whether or not the fire service is blue collar or white collar. And I think I heard you, Brian.
You did.
If I hear you correct. You called it gray collar.
I did.
I've never seen a gray collar myself. What does it look like?
Yeah. Well, it's dirty. It's a little dingy. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, why don't we first define what we think a blue collar is and white collar. Okay. And I ain't no professional at defining blue collar and white collar, but we can just give, what we think, it might be.
So can I, before we dive in, can I give a shout out to my buddy Jamal, who works with me at work, and kind of tell the story that you and I talked about before we went on. We were prepping for safer work for our class Friday from 3 to 5 at South Atlantic Fire Rescue Expo. Come see us. But we were chatting and we were talking about the show, this week's show, and we were discussing it. And I said, when we were chatting in our group chat about this week's topic, Jamal has a podcast. He has a sports podcast. And I kind of mentioned it and about this topic that we were going to discuss. And we almost had our own little show where we were discussing whether it was blue collar or white collar and the gray collar. And I thought it was very, very cool because I think everyone's going to have an opinion on this. And I think this is going to really strike some conversations online and really give some feedback and some context. And the one thing that I said, the segue into my opinion on this, that's for you, Doug, is that really there are white collars in almost every profession, right? When you think about it, even at McDonald's, even for a plumber, there is a segment of almost every single job that is the white collar part of it. A company doesn't run unless there is somebody doing the white collar part of it, right? So let's take Adam, for example. He runs a very successful seasoning business. Somebody has to write the contracts. Someone has to look at the profit margin. Someone has to do that work. And before he had the co-packer, someone had to do the work of the bottling piece of that. So if by definition that's the blue collar, well, then there's a blue collar section of the company and there's a white collar section of the company. And so that's kind of where Jamal and I were talking. Is he said, well, there's parts of the fire department that are white collar. Chief, you're the white collar part of the job, and we're the blue collar part, right? Like we're the guys riding on the trucks and we're the ones going and doing the work. And my response to him was, Jamal, earlier today, I saw you, he's newly promoted driver, and I said, you're up there doing the math, right? I said, that's very complex. You're doing friction loss and flow rates on smooth bore versus fog versus the master stream. And you're also an EMT, and so you have to calculate medication ratios. I was like, that's not That's not grunt work. So I was like, where's the middle ground here? And that's where we kind of come up with the gray collar part of this, because really the fire service is not all grunt work, right? Firefighting may be grunt work, but there is that complex mindset, the complex part of what we do that is not simple, right? Understanding the fundamentals of how the water gets out, understanding fire dynamics and fire behavior is more complex than just digging a ditch. So I don't want to go too much in depth into it, but I want to know what y'all's thought on it. Is there a middle ground too, in addition to just blue and white?
Purple collar.
What the hell?
Jobs that require a combination of blue collar and white collar skills, also in technical fields, required to have special degrees, license, or certifications.
Did you just read that?
Yeah. Skilled trade supervisors. Purple collar.
Is that what it says? Is that ChatGPT for the win?
No. That's
ChatGPT for the win. There's a T-shirt.
I also like lavender collar workers, so you'll have to look that up.
I thought we were going with pink
what
collar.
Is your
for
heart?
the pink
What does your
club.
corazón say, Adam? What does your heart say about the firefighting profession?
I would say more of a blue collar.
Why?
Just because you said the firefighter professions. I think low operation, lower on the chain of command.
Okay, I agree. I think that a firefighter is a blue collar job, and I've been sitting here listening to you, Brian, and also trying to formulate a thought in my small pea-sized brain as to why I would, because I do kind of understand your logic of, that, the upper brass have to think about the organization in financial terms, in mission and vision, and come up with all this
What's the strategic
chief
plan?
stuff.
Yeah.
But does your fire chief have turnouts? Does he? Huh?
Say that one more time. There was yelling in the house.
Does your fire chief have turnouts?
Yes.
Right. Why is that?
In case he has to go to work.
Hell yeah, dude. He is a blue collar motherfucker, dude. I think. That's my thing. I think we work our asses off. We don't technically need a bachelor's or an associate's degree, but in Unky's words, or in his thoughts, were, we have to have certifications. Well, that's true. We got to be EMTs, got to be paramedics. We got to have swift water awareness. We have to have, hazmat, first responder ops, or whatever.
TR. Yeah.
All this stuff, driver operator stuff, captain's classes. I mean, we do a lot of education, and it's not like in a formal, society driven college way, which they still push us that way because we're making more. And this might be a difference between the East Coast, West Coast, and I'd like to know the difference, Brian and Adam, but the West Coast, we make a fairly decent wage over here. I'm not going to lie. We do. We make a good wage, but the cost of doing business, the cost of living is very high. So maybe that's why, but they're saying, okay, so you're going to make this much money and you're not even going to have an associate's degree. You're not even going to have a bachelor's degree. But that just seems crazy to me because we're firemen. This is a blue collar job. We go in, we work our asses off. We carry heavy things. We break things. We put water, through a hose and onto the fire and whatever else, and we do it in a very professional manner. And so oh, Jesus, getting crazy over here. That, Brian, leads me to that's where I like the gray, because when we show up on scene,
yeah,
we are using our paramedic skills, our EMT skills to help somebody in a very professional manner. That's like a big word for us, right? And well, some of us, there are some firefighters across the country that could really give a shit what they look like, what they sound like, what they do. We've learned that through social media, which is sad. I don't like that at all. But when it comes to the three of us, try to be professional, and so if we are being professional, does that make us sort of white collar? And I still I still have a hard time. I just don't believe it.
And I
think
go back. I go back to the scale, right? Like to Adam's point, I think you start out very much blue collar, right? Like when you come in as a rookie firefighter, what's the expectation? Hey, Rook, clean the toilet. Make sure that you answer the phone like before anybody else. That you're the last to go to bed. You're the first to get up. Coffee's always got to be in the pot. There's these very much grunt expectations, and like you said, the fire chief is I don't want to say the whitest of the white collar in the department, but it is, right? Like that's the expectation. But at the same time, there's still the expectation to do that level of work. Now go back to the rookie firefighter. There's still an understanding that I don't know about your organization, but our organization during that 2-week rookie school is, what is the mission statement? You had to memorize it, right? Which is very much white collar. The mission, why are we here? To provide excellent customer service, whatever your mission statement is. So you're already planting the seed of that white collar from day one, right? Like, boom, it's there, because at some point you're going to slide on that scale from blue collar to some point on white collar in that profession. How and to what extent is different. And that's why I think the gray works. Or to Unky's point, purple, call it whatever you want to. It's somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah. I think we're blue collar because we work our asses off and we get dirty. And we wear a uniform shirt to be professional, but it takes 2 seconds. We start to get real sweaty, dirty and all this stuff. We just rip that thing right off, throw it in the fire engine and keep on working. Whereas like a white collar guy, he walks out of his house, parted to the side, very successful. And he walks with his briefcase and he gets in his Tesla and then he drives to his big commercial structure and he goes up to the 18th floor and he goes, "Hey boss, what are we selling today?" I don't know. That's just me. But, hey, I did see the movie Devil Wears Prada, and Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep had a very rookie firefighter type of relationship. She had to go get her coffee, make sure that she had her pastry there, and she had to make sure that everything was set up and ready to go for the morning. So maybe the white collar people act like blue collar people too.
Well, and I was going to say, do you think just take outside the firefighters, right? So look at some of your specialty folks in the fire department. That was where Jamal and I kind of had, I think, our most in-depth part of the conversation. So there are especially in larger departments, there's other parts of the fire department where there are specialty units. So fire marshal's office, you've got the inspectors who's literally on job sites every single day. Are they digging ditches? No, but they're definitely not in the office, right, pushing paper. They're on construction sites doing inspections, climbing ladders. Where do we see them? Or whether it's the public educator, which is in classrooms every single day, interacting with kids, lugging supplies in and out. Do they have a documentation piece? Yes, almost equally just as much as the crews that are doing incident reports. And that was my question to him was, where do we see those folks in the fire department too? Because oftentimes it's a us, them on both sides, operations versus these other specialty units. It's the training division, right? Is the training division of our department considered that same blue collar? Because again, it goes back to it's the us, them. It's ops and everybody else, right? Because ops takes the majority of the footprint of the organization, and then there's all these other specialty units. So how do we see that? Where do those folks lie in this color coding world that we're talking about?
So as I'm sitting here listening to you, Brian, I made an executive decision. Okay? It's blue collar. We're all blue collar. The fire marshal, the fire inspector, the fire chief. You know why? Because we're all part of the fire department. The fire department is the overall encompassing umbrella that we all live under. All of us little fucking minions. Sorry, Rhett. All of us little minions. Every time
how you apologize to a 6-year-old.
Yeah, sorry. All of these little minions, all these hard workers putting in the work that fall under the umbrella of the fire department, all doing the same thing for one common mission. One common mission, right? You go on the city of Leland, the city of Laguna Beach, your fire department, I don't know if it's different because it's federal, but you go on our website and it has the mission statement and it says fire department. And guess what it has on the left side? All the different departments, the fire prevention bureau, operations, PIO. It's all under the fire department. And so me being who am I? That's my new question. I love that. That's my new phrase. Who are you? Like who says, like, who am I? But I have to make an executive decision. And I'm going to say that we are a blue collar job. And I would love to hear, this is going to be a great discussion. Somehow, some way, I hope that we can come up with a clip or clips that go out on the social media. So if you're listening to this right now and you've made it through 25 minutes and 42 seconds of this podcast, please reply or comment, whatever it's called, on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen, and answer this, because I'm super. This is like a really good discussion point. Like, blue collar or white collar, does it really matter? No. Our purpose is way outside of whether or not we're white collar or we're blue collar. But we're just having a discussion. This is a podcast, and this is our topic for the day. And so it's all good. It's all great. It's fun discussion. I really enjoy it. But that's my answer, Brian.
Yeah, I think, and this is kind of cliche when I say this, but, Alabama, I don't remember that song, but he talked about, to the mill worker, to the firefighter fighting the fire, to the truck driver driving the truck. It was all dedicated to blue collar
40-hour work.
Thank you. The 40-hour worker, right? The 40-hour work week. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it was. I mean, they just saw it as the blue collar worker, the people who build America. And to your point, it is everybody in the fire department. The fire department can't do their job without all of those fundamental pieces. And I think that's what makes it good.
Hell yeah. I love that. Unky?
Why do we gotta care about colors? We just need to all blend together. Why do we gotta make a color thing out of it?
I don't see colors.
Yeah.
Right. I just
see a bunch work together.
I just see a bunch of dudes and a bunch of chicks that are just working hard,
Just grinding every day.
Hell yeah.
Always. Yeah. That's all I see. Is a bunch of dudes just grinding.
I see.
All day.
Sorry, Rhett. That'll go over his head. Yeah, I agree. It's a bunch of, hardworking individuals all working together for one common goal. One common goal, the community. People that put the money in your back pocket, friends. So, hey, that's good. That's really good. Any other thing to add? I think that we're just kind of beating a dead horse. Sorry, PETA, at this point, if we keep on going. Unless you got some more to add there, Bri.
Well, the only thing that I was going to share, as my family gets loud behind me, is, just in general, I would say that as long as folks are mission driven, does it really matter? That was the whole thing. Like, for the us, them, does it matter whether it's blue collar, white collar, right? It goes back to the concept of everybody is serving everyone else. Right? So whether you're in operations serving the customer or you're prevention serving the customer and the fellow firefighters. I used to tell that to my staff all the time that, one of the biggest goals that we had was we're not the one responding on the fire call, but our goal was to make sure that for those who were, that they were fighting that fire safely as possible. So I think it was Adam who talked about one of his inspectors on the base who really took an initiative to worry about firefighter safety as much as he did the citizen safety piece of it.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's the real perspective we should look at. To kind of to Adam's point, who cares what color our collar is, as long as we
do your job.
Just do your job, right? Like, just go to work and get the job done and make sure that whatever your role is, you're doing it the best that you can. I think we had even talked about that again before we started the podcast about there are going to be firefighters who stay firefighters and never promote. And that's okay, because the worst thing you could do is take the best widget maker and promote him or her to a leadership position, and they're a terrible leader because now productivity has gone down. Effectiveness has gone down, especially talking about the fire service.
Yeah.
And so because they don't have the character traits to lead them. But in that role, as being the best widget maker or the best firefighter. They're actually indirectly leading and motivating and teaching without having to pick up rank, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so their purpose and their why is much better because of that.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the guy that started this conversation. So his name on Spotify is 20 Firefighter. So I don't know his name, but his comment was, had a discussion the other day at the firehouse on, is the fire service a blue collar or white collar job? The example that was given is, what do you consider a dentist? They are a doctor and have a degree, but they also get their hands dirty working in people's mouths. What's y'all's take? This kind of goes along with the college/trade. So that was your example. I don't know if I would call getting a dentist getting his hands dirty in someone's mouth the same as the way we get dirty as firemen, but I appreciate the example, and we appreciate the engagement, because that's what basically started this whole conversation for this entire episode. So there you go. That's why we love engagement. And again,
it helps give us content too. I mean, like the context and the content and the conversation. So to, what was his name? Fireman 20?
20 Firefighter.
20 Firefighter. Welcome to the kitchen table, bud. And we would welcome more as well. So comment with more questions like that.
Okay. So we're going to try something new, boys. We're going to try a new segment, and it's called Snail Mail Call. All right. Snail Mail Call. What does that mean? So we're all of a sudden getting all this engagement through Spotify, through TikTok and Instagram. So that is freaking amazing. And it just fits in with our why, our purpose. Why did we start this? To continue great conversations all across the world about big topics, small topics, all topics within the fire service. And that's what we're doing. And so people have brought things to our attention on social media and on Spotify, and we're going to talk about it. And that's what the Snail Mail Call is all about. So, boys, as I find one here, here's one from Colt. All right. Shout out to Colt. I work full-time with a local construction company and went through the EMT program last semester, and now I'm looking to apply as a firefighter EMT in a local city about 30 minutes from where I live. Do y'all have any advice on keeping the desire to get into the career while trying to balance a regular job and starting the career with a fire department? Hell yeah, dude. I love it. You're shaking your head, Brian. I'm going to let you go first.
I'm shaking my head because 27 years later, I'm still trying to find the balance, right, of being that plus all the other things that I do. So what was this guy's name?
So his name is Colt.
Colt, brother. You're gonna need to figure that out all the time. But the balance that you found to do your job plus get your EMT is the same balance you'll use to get your job. So I'm looking at you in the camera and I'm telling you that if you find the passion to do it, you'll get it sooner or later, right? But be true to yourself, be honest to others, right? And keep the passion going and you'll get a job. Don't worry about that, right? Because when you're true to yourself and true to others and keep the passion going, the determination will be there. Desire and ability are two different words in the dictionary for a reason, right? But the desire that you have, right, to get those things done, and as long as you have the ability, a job will come 110%.
Love it. Adam, any words of advice for our boy Colt? He's on mute.
You muted again.
Bueller?
I got planes flying in the background. I forgot to turn my mic back on. Can you please reread the question?
It's just basically, do you have any advice on keeping the desire to get into the career of firefighting while trying to balance a regular job? So he's a full-time worker with a local construction company, and he went through his EMT. He's going to be applying for a firefighter job about 30 minutes from where he lives. And he's just trying to figure out if we have any advice on keeping the desire to get into the career while trying to balance a regular job and starting the career as a firefighter.
Keeping the desire? It's either you want to do it or you don't.
Hey, I mean, true words spoken.
You know,
yeah.
Either you want to do it or you don't. To make that jump from one paying job to another paying job is a huge life decision to do, to make that jump, because you don't know if you're burning a bridge behind you or not. That's what I like to tell a lot of people, that if you're interested in doing it, try to volunteer somewhere to get the taste for it, or go hang out at a volunteer fire station and let them pal around with, let them, you tag along for a couple calls and see if that's what you want to do, because it's life changing. We talked about that on so many episodes.
Yeah.
Being a firefighter, volunteer, paid or not, whatever you want to call it, being on that truck changes everything in your life.
Yeah. Colt?
It's not because you have to be there, or not because you want to be there. You have to be there at that point.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. Colt, one of the pillars to science of happiness is service to others. And if you obtain service to others through your construction company, that's awesome. What I can guarantee you is that if you join this fire department that you're talking about, you will fulfill that service to others, and it will make you a better person. And if you have the purpose and the why to do it within you, in your heart, that you want to help people, it's the best thing ever. It's the greatest job in the world. So I'll read you what I wrote to him back on Spotify. I said, absolutely, Colt. When I was trying to get hired, I had at least 3 jobs going. If you truly have service in your heart, you won't view it as a job. In the fire service, you are trading time for money, time away from your family, hobbies, etc., but it's worth it. All in caps. Being a fireman is the best job in the world. Keep on wanting to better yourself, even when you get hired full time. Never stop learning, and it'll be organic for you. Keep up the good work. Work hard, stay focused, and you'll do great. There you go. Those were my words of advice to him through Spotify. I hope others see it. I thought I wrote that pretty well and conveyed my point. What do you guys think?
I think you did good.
All right. We got one more. I got one more for you, boys. It's been 37 minutes. It's through Instagram from Chris Sullivan. I just want to say I absolutely love the podcast. I was wondering if you have done an episode on incentives for firefighters. And at that point, I was thinking to myself, incentives, does that mean like benefits? Or so I'll explain what I think he means here in a second. I was wondering if you have done an episode on incentives for firefighters. I know it can be a problem to get guys out during the night. That is one of our issues. Do you have any suggestions? Thank you.
So I'm going to inject and say it sounds like he's in a volley department.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me too.
And he's struggling to get people at night. And I have some opinions about that, but I'll let you finish.
No, so we work close with a volunteer department. Volunteer department means something different to you guys than it means to me. All right. I was a volunteer firefighter, but it still does not mean what it means to you guys. You have full-time guys that work in your fire department, Brian, that also work as a volunteer, like almost as like a full-time guy, right? They run on fire engines, they put out fires, they run wrecks. It's like they work at your department. It's the same thing.
Yeah, nonstop.
It's much different on the West Coast, guys. If you're a volunteer firefighter, you're a scab on the West Coast. And I use that word. It's a terrible, terrible word. And I personally think it's terrible because I don't think that it should be that way at all. But it has that connotation. It has the connotation of why are these guys here proving to others that it can be done for a lesser wage? And it's terrible. The West Coast has that mentality, and it's terrible. I hate it. It's not a good mentality. We have volunteer firefighters that work just to the north of us. I won't use names or numbers or anything. And when we run a call with them and something doesn't go right, my first question is like, well, then why don't we address it? You know what I mean? But it's almost like people would like to rather see it fail. And I hate that. That's just the craziest thing. And so when I was a volunteer firefighter, I wasn't even they had different tiers, different levels. I worked on a squad. I basically ran medical aids when our fire engine wasn't available. We would come down, we'd have a pager. And when our engine got a call, we would drive down there, we'd sign in, we'd get like $5 every time we came down. And if another call went out in our area, we would take it. And could we run a structure fire? Yeah, but we were in a squad. We didn't even have a CAF system. We had nothing. We had no water, no hose, no nothing. It was literally just on scene, do a little size up, and then hold the perimeter. Come up with a plan. I mean, it's nothing, dude. Was it good experience? Yes. And did I make the most of it? Absolutely. Did it help me get to where I am today? Yes. Is it the most effective thing? No, it's not. So
can I ask you, can I pause you real quick and ask you a very real question, very vulnerable question? In that time, you gave a scenario of where, we could arrive on scene and, just do a size up. Did that ever happen?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, we as a volunteer, we had 2 structure fires back to back in a morning. I'll never forget. I was very young in the volunteer fire service, and we, middle of the night, kind of to this young man's question. I don't remember his name or this man's question. I won't say young man. I don't know how old he is. Yeah. But to this person's question, middle of the night, we ran a structure fire. I'll never forget. I got drug around the yard by the guy by the name of Doug. He literally drugged me around the front yard. I was a backup hose nozzleman, and I was his backup, and he drugged me around the yard. And then I had came in on a tender. I'm going to call it a tender because that's by definition ICS. We call it a tanker. So we got drug around. The tanker came in, and then when we went to clear up, we went to go pick up our stuff from the fill point because we had to use the tanker shuttles, right, for water. We didn't have a hydrant. So we were picking up the stuff from the tanker, and then we were headed back to the station. Another structure fire drops. And we pulled up on scene in that tanker, and it had a little jockey pump, like you'd see on a brush truck, right? 250 gallons almost. And that was it. And that morning on that structure fire with smoke billowing out of that mobile home, the pump wouldn't work. And all we had was 2 booster reels. And I'll never forget, to this day, the people whose house was on fire, they had 2 little plastic white chairs like you would see Walmart, whatever, wherever you'd buy it from. I literally remember them holding those chairs in their hands, and they turned around and walked away from us. And all I could remember hearing, I was standing there at the door with this little booster line and hearing the booster pumps, and they're going, and it would not crank. And I can remember the guilt that I felt at that moment, right? And I told myself, I was like, we should be better than this, right? And it wasn't because it said blankety blank volunteer fire department on it. Now, with that being said, that piece of equipment was 30 plus years old at that moment, right? And it was war slap out. It was broke, right? But did it matter whether that said city of, right? Whether it said volunteer? That doesn't matter.
No.
In my mind, to your point, that drove me in exactly what you said to be better. When I became a driver, I made darn sure every day that my pump worked, because I remember what it was like to stand in the yard with no water and have the person's house burning and turn their back on me.
Right. Oof.
What a feeling of guilt.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
What a feeling of guilt that was. So when this person asks, hey, how do we get people out the door? It's because they're standing on a call with 1 or 2 people knowing that that's not enough. And they're feeling a different kind of guilt than I felt that night, because it isn't a guilt of equipment failure. It's a guilt of community failure, right? What caused them to start a fire department now is the opposite of what's happening in their community. It's now that they're not responding. How do we get them to come up here and volunteer and to incentivize them? And maybe it's paid per call. Maybe it's to create a system where people can, I don't know, we've talked about it in different ways. Maybe it's that you talk to the community and you say, hey, you know what's cheaper than paid firefighters is a tax break, where we give you a break off of your property tax. Some states I know give free hunting and fishing license as long as you're an active volunteer. Lifetime membership. Serve 5 years, and we're going to give you a free lifetime hunting and fishing license. I've heard all these different incentives. And what I would say is that the best way to start is to start internal and say, what is keeping you from getting up and coming in the middle of the night? I can tell you, for me, in my volunteer department, it's that I can't schedule a fire call, right? I don't go on fire calls because I can't schedule it. And my firehouse doesn't have the ability for me to sleep up there, right? And pull duty crew night. So if I can't schedule it and I'm working on call, I got to figure out how to serve. So what I would say is figure out where to meet the people that want to serve. Figure out where you can meet them at, right? And find out what their incentive is. If you're asking 3 guys from around the country, you're asking the wrong people, right? You need to be asking this question. And I forgot the guy's name already. What's his name?
His name is Chris Sullivan.
Chris, you need to be talking to the people in your department, right? Because what works for me and what works for Matt or what could work for Adam is all relative. It needs to be asked of what would work in your department, right? And that's just my 2 cents worth.
There's a lot of a local volunteer fire department or department. I've heard them go out for several times. They have calls waiting. Grandma fell. 2 people fell. Different locations, they need to get picked up. I'm not feeling well. Can't get nobody to respond. Everybody's tied up on other calls. All of a sudden, an entrapment comes out. Everybody's available. And they quickly downgrade it to like a minor vehicle accident, and people start clearing up. And the supervisor of the volunteers starts saying, no, do not return back to station. I need you to go to this location and go pick up grandma off the ground. And they were scrambling, trying to create excuses to go back to the station, not pick up grandma. And unfortunately, there are people like that just want to wait out their call. Instead of doing what you're supposed to do. You're not responsible for what type of call you're given. You just supposed to serve. Man. And so you got those kind of people.
If Doug was here, he would be flying off the handle right now. He'd be flying off the handle right now. So you're telling me that you want to run this big call, but you don't want to go pick grandma. We've already had this conversation. He went off the hook, and I love it. Right,
and that's his main priority of his truck, his ladder company, is picking grandma off the ground.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
And Brian's right. You shouldn't be asking us. Actually, you should be. It's okay. It's fine that you're asking us but our answer is to you, you need to figure out where the major malfunction is in your firehouse or in your community, because you have some sort of lack of purpose, some sort of lack of why. Like,
well, and
lack of why.
Well, and it is a lack of why, but it's also finding the how, right? You got to find the how. How do we make it work? Like, how do we get back to the reality of it is that volunteers came down there to serve, right? Yeah. And they still have the why. We were talking about this before the show started. They still have the how the why. They've lacked the how. How can they find the way to serve? We had this discussion at a state level, and what we find is those people who come down, right, at 19, 20 years old, get married, then they have kids, and then they can't juggle all of that, right? Kind of to the first guy's question, hey, how do I juggle figuring all this out? Well, you got to figure out the how, right? So you can incentivize it, and that's cool for a little while until the cool wears off. So you've got to figure out, how do you make this work long term, right? Because Timmy's still got a baseball game, and Susie still has to go to cheerleading, and the wife still expects for folks to help. And so I'm not saying that you can't, you just have to figure out the how, right? Everybody's got to be on board with it. That's what I'm saying.
You got me all riled. Like, no excuses. Play like a champion, man.
100%.
When I was a reserve or volunteer, whatever you want to call it. And when I said the word scab, I looked over and Adam's face, his jaw hit the ground, right? And I told you, I prefaced what I was saying was because there's a difference between the feeling and the definition even of a volunteer firefighter on the West Coast as it is to the East Coast. So please, if you're a volunteer on the East Coast and you're listening to this right now, I meant no disrespect at all. I'm just making a plain point as to like the difference in the mode of operation that you guys have as opposed to we do. It's totally different. Being a reserve or a volunteer firefighter where I work is a stepping stone. It is not something that you go get a full-time job and then like, oh, I'm going to be a volunteer firefighter in my town. That does not happen. at least around where I am. There might be small pockets in California somewhere, but it's not the culture. It's not how it works. And I say scab because that, like, it's a, we all know the term, so I don't need to go into it. But
so Matt will be at Safer next week.
Yeah, throw tomatoes. I don't give a shit. But what I'm here to tell you is, you signed up to be a volunteer firefighter. Fucking do your job. Whether the call comes in at 2:00 in the afternoon or 2:00 in the morning, show up. Show up. Have pride in yourself and your community and your fire department. Like, that's my answer. Like, if you want,
but Matt,
answer,
we have to understand that the volunteer also has a full-time job and has a family, and so that's why I said you have to figure out the how. Right? The reality of it is that you have to have the support network. Right? If you came home and your wife said, "Matt, it's either me or the fire department," what would you do?
Oh, my family comes first, 100%.
110%.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying.
You're a firefighter, but
no,
this guy's saying, "How do I get people to show up at night?" Show up.
Okay,
show
no
up.
doubt. But
Have
there's
pride.
also no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, how do you find the balance, right? Because at that point, if you're sitting there reading your story to your little kid, who's only going to be a little kid for a little while, been there, done that, and the pager goes off, and there's a wreck up the road. Right? You're hoping that someone else will go. Let me finish. You're hoping that someone else will go because Timmy's only going to be little for a little while. Right? And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm not saying that that's my opinion. I'm saying that's the reality. So they have to figure out, that's what I'm saying. They have to figure out the how. How do you balance all this? And incentivizing it, what I'm saying is incentivization is not always monetarily. It's not always something. You have to figure out how do we balance this. And I think that goes back to, you're asking us is not it. You have to figure out why are you not responding, right? What's the reason for you not responding on this call? And once you figure that out, then you can figure out the how, and then possibly the incentives to make it work. That's all I was going to say.
I love it. And that's fine, Brian. 100%. And it's a very good way to break it down. In my simplistic brain, my pea-sized brain, I think that I made a dedication to my community. And if I'm reading a bedtime story to my child and my pager goes off, I made a commitment to my community that I'm going to effing respond. Sorry, Rhett. Okay. That's just what I feel like right here, like inside my soul, like, show up. Like, what? You signed up. Okay. Now the next question that Chris might have is like, well, we have a hard time getting guys. So I can't just tell them, hey, you got to just show up. Cause they're going to say, no, I don't, because I don't have to be here. I can quit. Now that sucks. Now that's a guy that's just doing it just to help out. It doesn't have like a why inside his heart as to, service to his community. That's a different issue. And I don't know how to combat that. And that would probably need like true incentives. But for me, somebody that, I was young at the time and eager to serve, and that pager went off, I was always doing something. I was sitting down eating dinner with Kels before we were even married, and that pager would go off. Boom, I'm gone, And I would just leave. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll watch TV by myself tonight. And I was down at the firehouse for the next 2-3 hours, So yeah, there's multiple answers. And Chris, for me, it's, like, you got to find guys, and this was actually what I was going to write back to him. I haven't written anything back to him. Maybe try like a team building exercise, go paintballing. Go airsoft, go do some sort of like escape room. I don't know, like get together, go to the bar and drink. I don't know, whatever you guys think, whatever you guys do for fun, and have some sort of team.
If he
building.
does that, ain't nobody going to be able to go. I'm just saying that.
If what? If
he goes to the bar and drinks, then definitely won't nobody be able to go to the fire call.
Well, then you can't go to the call. Yeah, of course. But that I don't know how else to answer and to change the culture of his volunteer firehouse. I don't know.
As my captain used to say, they need a real strong come to Jesus meeting. And I would say that his department is no different than the majority of departments in this country.
Brian, what did I just say? Just show up. No excuses. Play like a champion. That's my come to Jesus.
All right. So if you got a good answer for Captain Matt here, It'll be at Safer in Raleigh, North Carolina next week. All we ask is before you throw a tomato is to squeeze it. And if you're going to punch them, it's going to be an open hand punch like Hulk Hogan. You gotta be
Make sure you're
punch.
punching the right person, too.
Yes.
I don't understand why would they do that? Just because I called all volunteer scabs? Is that why? That's not, and I wasn't. I was just using it as an example. But I don't know.
South Atlantic Fire and Rescue Expo, folks. Raleigh, North Carolina. You'll find me, Brian, Matt, and Doug there all week long. So come on by, say hi to us.
And if you weren't watching, I was just shaking my head.
And Matt will bring the shovel that he's using to dig his own grave. All right, very good. That's been the Cool Fireman Podcast. I think we're up to episode 117. And if Doug was here, it'd be episode 109.
Season 8.
Season 15. Very good. Boys, it's always a pleasure. I love you. I mean it.
Hey, we're going to be in Raleigh next week. Maybe we can do an in-person. Find a quiet space. All four of us.
Jeez.
Just grinding it out, guys. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Kind of like we did at FDIC, where we kind of did a midweek recap. That'd be cool.
Shit, maybe we could find a scab to do it with us.
Yeah, oh, God.
With all due respect. All right. I love you. Mean it. Roll it, Gigi.
Just roll it, Gigi.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!